Welcome to the Feet of Mountain Climbers Ministry. This television broadcast is to spread the gospel of hope and encouragement into all the world. Our ministry motto, may God give you feet to climb mountains to rise above every storm. And our ministry scripture is 1 Peter 5:10 through 11. And the Bible says, but the God of all grace hath called unto us his eternal glory by Christ Jesus. After that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. This broadcast is hosted by Minister Keith and Leisha Gardner, ministers and motivational speakers, and author of the book, My Greatest Outcome Came from Going Through My Greatest Pain. To sow a seed or to have us pray with you, send us your prayer request to the Feet of Mountain Climbers Ministry, P.O. Box 541446, Grand Prairie, Texas, 75054-1446. And we want to let you know, we'd love to join our faith with yours, so be sure you write to us. And now, here's Ministers Keith and Leisha Gardner.
Welcome to today's television broadcast, the Feet of Mountain Climbers Television Broadcast Ministry, live on the FOMC Television Network. I'm so glad that you tuned in today. We have an amazing broadcast in store for you today. I know that something that's going to be said today is going to change and impact your life. I'm telling you, I'm excited. I've been preparing this interview for a whole year. We have a Hall of Fame, nationally known Hall of Fame coach, Mr. Lee A. Williams. We are here live in his home. And first of all, I would like to say, Coach, welcome to this broadcast. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of what God is doing in my life and just sharing with the world, keeping the world abreast on some of the most impactful and positive news around the world. People need to know, what's going on, not just locally, but worldwide. Again, this is Mr. Lee A. Williams of ODY Chaparrals. He is a National Hall of Fame coach. Coach, thank you. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Man, I appreciate you so much for taking this opportunity. I just know that somebody that's watching us around the globe today is going to be just impacted by what's going to come out of your mouth. I'm telling you, Coach, you have a resume that's unmatched. And I just want to ask you a little bit about how you got started, a little bit about your accomplishments. Your resume is so impressive. First of all, I want to ask you, you were a good athlete at Poly High School in Fort Worth, Texas. Then you went on and your career continued on in college at TCU, which is also in Fort Worth, Texas. Just tell me a little bit about your time as an athlete at Poly and then going on to TCU.
Well, number one, I was fortunate to do what I wanted to do as an athlete, and that was to run track, play football, but I always wanted to be a coach ever since I was in the 7th grade. Didn't even know what a coach really was at that point in my life, but I knew I wanted to be one. And what really got me interested in track and field was when I started outrunning older guys. That made me feel good, and I enjoyed it. And then when I got to high school, my coach told me that I was going to run track, and had me in the 400, well, it was 440-yard dash then. And I think first time I ran it in a track meet, I ran a 49.8.
Wow.
As a sophomore, because back then 9th graders wasn't in high school.
Wow.
And from there it just took off.
Wow. Tell me a little bit about when you got to TCU.
When I got to TCU, they didn't have that many athletes, and definitely didn't have that many good athletes. But my teammate from high school, his name was Gary Peacock. we got there, and then I had a friend when I was in junior college that came with us. He's Sam McKinney from the Bahamas, and had another young man that was an 800-meter runner, and we just pieced us a mile relay together, and wind up making it to the NCAAs, and we ran in yards. We ran a 3:07, which was a pretty decent time back then. And the next year, we ran a 4x1, and every day at the NCAAs, we set a new school record and wound up getting 4th place at the NCAAs my last year running.
Wow, that's pretty good stuff. You know, like I say, you were a good athlete. We know you're an incredible coach, and we're going to get into that. But, Coach, tell me about your first coaching job and how you got started.
Mr. James Whittingham was the assistant athletic director when I got hired on, and he had already told me when I was at TCU, Lee, when you graduate, come down here to the office and we'll sit down and see about getting you a job. And he did exactly that, and I was always thankful. The one thing I hate most of all is, and he was a diehard track and field man, and he passed away before he saw the good relay team I had.
Oh,
His
wow.
wife wrote us the nicest note congratulating us. I have it in my scrapbook now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good stuff, I tell you. You know, it's just amazing, you know, how people have impacted your life, and then you turned around and impacted so many lives. You know, that leads me to my next question. I want you to tell me, and those that are watching us today, what is your most notable and unforgettable moment of your coaching tenure?
It's 2.
Wow.
Having the young men that set the national record in the 4x1, and later on that year, setting the national record in the 4x2.
Oh, wow. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about that. I was there when the national record was set, and it was amazing because, you know, everything had to be perfect. Everything had, the stage was set for such a perfect record to be ran. And I'll be honest, like I say, I'm going to come back to that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But I was just amazed, and like I say, I don't want to get in that right now because we'll stay right there all day.
No.
So I'm going to ask you, Coach, in all of your years of coaching, which team and what race stands out the most to you?
Let me back up just 1 second. I told you 2. The other one was in 2002 when I lost all my kids to grades,
Wow.
except 1. And I asked 2 freshmen and a sophomore to come on up and let's run varsity.
Wow.
And I had to make a little change from the prelims to the finals at the regional track meet. And I put a freshman anchoring. And I knew it was pressure on him. So when the race was over, we had won. And I think on his ankle leg, when he took off, I did too. Because I ran to the finish line in the stands while he was running.
Wow.
But that was special because they had to have some things go our way, but made a few changes for state meet. I had another freshman running anchor leg, and I picked up one kid that was ineligible and got him back. And when the gun went off and the kids hit the finish line, we had won the sprint relay.
Coach, you did say 2 freshmen.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And thing that I had told him before the race started, I said, now we had some Dada uniforms on at the time. and we were the only team in the state of Texas without our uniform that I paid $1 for because I couldn't get them free. Because it's against UIL rules. And I told them, just trying to get them relaxed and psyched up, I said, now we warmed up. I want y'all to take one lap around the track. And if any of those teams that's getting ready to run against us start looking at y'all while y'all jogging around, because I want you laughing and talking. I want you relaxed.
Wow.
And the little freshman ran over to me after he got to jogging. He said, Coach, all those guys are looking at us. I said, well, then we got them.
We got them. Wow. 2 freshmen. How was your nerves?
You know, at that time, I had been through a lot of fire over my coaching career.
Wow.
And I was just upbeat because anybody that would listen to me that whole week, I said, we're going to win this thing.
Wow.
And that's just how I felt. So, you know, and I tried to relate it to the kids. And like I said, we had to have some things go our way, which it did because Austin Reagan came in with one of the fastest kids in the nation.
Wow.
But they dropped the stick in the regionals and didn't make it in the 4x1.
Wow. And you bring up a good point. You know, the mile relay, in which we call the 4x4, and the 4x100 meter relay, the sprint relay, such differences there, because in the 4x1, you know, everything has to be just perfect.
Yes,
the exchange zone, you can't run out of that. The guys that's taking the stick, you don't want that athlete to run off and leave the one who's bringing the stick. And you know, I'm going to get into a little bit about how I was one of your athletes and I ran for you. But I used to always remember you telling us, because I was on your 4x1 and your 4x4. And you would always tell us the worst thing to hear in that 4x1 is that stick on the ground. Clean, clean, clean.
Right.
You know, like I say, it's amazing because I look at how you are telling me you took 2 freshmen and you won state. Talk to me a little bit about defying odds.
Number one, 4x1, you can be good, but you got to be focused.
Wow.
And if you're not focused, a whole lot of things can happen and none of them are good.
Yeah.
So I want my kids relaxed. Let them know that I trusted them, and we're going to bring it home.
Coach, I got to stop you right there. You just said something that's very key. You talked about the trust. How do you get, and this is good for any sport, but how do you get kids to believe in you as the coach? How do you get them to buy into what you're telling them to do?
It's not all about practice. You got to sit there and spend time with kids, talking to them. Because some days you yelling at them, trying to get them to that point. But at the same time, they got to know that you believe in them. So it takes time to sit down and just have conversations.
Now, Coach, is you know as well as I do, and some of those that are watching, sometimes you're not just a coach. You're almost a father figure to some of these young men because they don't always have fathers in the home. We talk about you coaching the boys, but I'm sure you had some young ladies that you helped also along the way.
Yes, I coached girls for, I know, 20 years. It didn't make no difference. I just tell the girls, hey, you can be a girl when practice is over, but right now you're just an athlete. Wow. And you got to put in the work.
Wow, that's really good. That's really, like I say, you are really just almost, like I say, just a father figure besides just being a coach, because you really gravitate to, kids, and they gravitate to you, and it gets, personal level, because you've probably heard things beyond just the track and field. So I look at it as, you're a mentor too. You're many things to many athletes. But what I want to ask you is, what has been your greatest accomplishment in your coaching career?
It might sound stupid to some people, but watching my boys graduate.
Wow.
That's a tremendous feeling for me, because over the years things change at the schools, and you're dealing with kids that halfway raising themselves, and you have to sit down and talk to them about things that they shouldn't do, and that's not the way people live. And blessed to have a coaching staff. All of us, it wasn't nothing for us to have to go buy groceries to make sure kids had food at home.
And that's just what I'm talking about. Past just being a coach, past just being a mentor. It gets to a personal level sometimes, because you see so much. We, as the spectators, we only see what's on the track and what's taking course on the field events, but you see the hurt and the pain in some of these athletes. And sometimes, they don't always feel like performing. They don't always feel like practicing. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I have to put this in while I'm thinking about it. Like I say, I was one of your athletes, and you did something that I used to get mad at you, Coach. I really couldn't understand it. But it made sense to me later on in my adult life. And here's what really drove me. I was one of your 400-meter runners, and I was on your mile relay. I was on your sprint relay. But when we would practice, you would always have us to run 350s and 800s. Now, for anybody that's watching that knows track and field, 800 is 2 laps around. A 400 is 1 lap around. Now, this is what really drove me, Coach, and I'm glad I had the chance to sit down with you and tell you how I feel.
So you're gonna get me now, huh?
But here's what I couldn't understand. I said, now if I'm a 400-meter runner, why am I practicing running 800 in practice, 2 laps around? But you said something to me that made sense in my adult life. You said, son, you never practice for what you know you can do. Always practice for more. And that 800 was that more, because, see, you never coached us to run. I'm going to tell you. You never coached us to run to the finish line. You coached us to run through it. And really, whether you know it or not, now I'm a pastor, so the preacher's coming out in me, but that was a natural thing, but it's really a spiritual thing, because in life, you never want to just do enough. You want to always do more than enough. Even spiritually, we teach people to tithe, because God, when God blesses you, He never blesses you on the level that you give it. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, you can sow $200. You're not going to get a $200 return. You're going to get more. It's going to be increased. So what you were doing, you were increasing our stamina. You were increasing our ability to not just get to the finish line. Because here's something you said to me, and I shall never forget it. You said a good race can be won or lost right there in the last 10 meters. I remember, and you remember this well, we were, I believe, I want to say it was my sophomore year, maybe my junior year, but it was early in my time of running for you at OD Watt. We had blue uniforms, and we were at state. And you changed the next year from the blue uniform to the white uniform because the race was so close. It was almost a photo finish. And you said that blue uniform may have made the difference in the place that we got. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, as you know, navy is a pretty common color.
And that was our school color.
And that was our school color. But we also had white and we had Columbia blue.
Wow.
And I went to the white. We were running at night. And it just made sense to do it.
Wow. Wow.
Because, you know, the act track is not going to lie. Because it's just a camera. It's going to take the picture when you hit the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
My concern was who's looking at the act track making the decision.
Wow.
So I felt like that was just the right thing to do at that time.
And the reason why I brought up the colors of the uniform and the photo finish, it alludes back to what I was saying about not running to the finish line, running through. We had to, you know, in practice, we never practiced to run to the finish line. We practiced to run to it. We practiced to, you know, complete, not just to get 99%. And you know, I'm just sitting here talking to you, and I mean, so much stuff is going through my mind. I knew, you know, we were gonna need some time to just sit down one-on-one and talk about some things, because, like I say, your resume it speaks, you know, volumes. But this is bringing me back to my days of running for you. But Coach, I want to talk a little bit here. I have some of your honors, some of your highlights, some of the pivotal things that half of the viewers, if not any of us, we don't know about your stellar career. But I'm just going to read through a few of them. Track and field 4A state champion in 2002. Track and field 5A state champion 1998. Holds the national record. You are the coach who coached the national record team in the 4x100 meter relay. We're going to talk about that. But that time was 39.76. And then you had the second fastest national time in the 4x200 meter relay at 1 minute and 23 seconds, 1:23:31. I put it to you like that. And then this is what stands out to me. You had 41 years of coaching and teaching. I'm going to ask you about that 41 years. 2010 UIL boys track and field, all century team, 400 meter relay, Fort Worth, the 39.76. Head track coach, Fort Worth, Sister Cities International, Reggio Emilia, Italy, 2009. 52 track and field All-Americans. I got to stop right there. Coach, let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
52 All-Americans.
It just happened. You know, you get so busy trying to prepare for the next year. And for myself, I've always, when track season came up, I go to bed trying to think about how I can make my guys better. I wake up in the morning thinking about how I can make my guys better. And I took a lot of pride in that because, Keith, you know, I was a head coach and I had one assistant. And pride made me want to work hard because I was going up against schools that had 5 coaches.
Wow.
And I never would let the kids complain about what we didn't have. We worked out on a cinder track until 2000, from 1979 to 2004, I believe. Wow. We had a cinder track, and if we couldn't go up to the stadium, we worked out on grass because, you know, when it rains so much in the spring, it washes out the cinder track, so it's not safe to work out on, but we didn't let that be no excuse.
So when did rubber tracks come into play in Fort Worth?
I could be off a year or two, but I think it was like 2000.
Wow. Oh man, let's talk about the 41 years of coaching. How long were you at ODY?
I was at ODY 38 years.
38 years, man. You know, I coach. I tell you about this all the time. I say it's never gonna be duplicated again. You'll never have a teacher that teaches at one school for 38 years. It's not gonna happen again. I mean, because different things causes people to change jobs, or I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I'm not talking about the 41 years of coaching. I'm talking about the 38 years of consistency at one school. What kept you at ODY for that many years?
That's where I wanted to be. I wanted to work with kids that I knew needed help. I felt safe there. I felt like that's where I need to be. So, you know, my wife told me all the time that God perfectly placed you, and I had to go along with that.
Wow. Oh boy, that's amazing. You know, as I sit here and I look back over the 38 years at one school, my sister went through there, and she graduated in 1982. Then I had a nephew came after me, and I was a 1990 graduate. You went through a family bloodline of Gardners.
Yes, I did.
And so many other kids, you know, their families. You know, I'm sitting here, I almost just want to laugh because you probably coach somebody's father or mother and then turned around and coached that kid years later.
Yes, I did.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I let them know, you mess up with me, I'm old school. I go knock on your house.
Boy, I tell you, I'm gonna keep moving on because I want to stop and talk about some things, but it's just so much. So let me look at this one here. You had the Nick Johnson broke world record in the 100 meter, 10.29 for 16-year-olds, and that was at the JOS 2000 Denton, Texas.
Junior Olympics.
Wow. You coached that too?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
He had a good season. I remember when they were freshmen, I had the one young man left from the national relay record.
Wow.
Milton Wesley. And I had 3 freshmen. And we were at the regional track meet. And I think we got 4th place.
Wow.
In the 4x1. And I said, I just coached the best 41-4 team I've ever had.
Wow.
And the coach was looking at me, what you talking about? And I said, 3 of them were freshmen.
Wow.
So, yeah, and Nick was one of them.
You have to be able to relate to young athletes. And, you know, we talked a little bit about that, the trust that they have to have in you, the trust that you have to have in them. And that's something to put young kids, I mean, just throw them in the fire, but that's the only way you're really going to get better. And I remember when I was running for you, we never really ran a lot at Fort Worth. You always put us in the heat over in Dallas because you told us if you're going to make it to state, you're going to have to go through the kids in Dallas. South Oak Cliff was the team at the time when we were coming along, and Dallas Carter, Dallas South Oak Cliff, Roosevelt, Kimball. Mm-hmm. So, like I say, you make athletes better by putting them in an environment that, you're going to have to earn it. And that's what I like about you. But, Coach, I'm looking here. In 1998, the Texas High School Coaches Association, you received the award of Outstanding Achievement. In 1998, state resolution came from 642 from Senator Mike Moncrief. Talk to me a little bit about that.
It was an honor to recognize our kids at the state senate.
Wow.
And by him being from Fort Worth, it meant a lot. Anytime you can get recognized by somebody in the city, it's special.
Wow.
Been recognized all over the nation, but when it's in Fort Worth, that really means something.
That's big. And Coach, here it says in 1989, you received the Texas Coaches Association Track Advisory Committee. You were a member?
Yes.
Okay.
On the Texas track.
Wow.
Where we met with the UIL and talked about rule changes and how we can make the sport more successful.
Wow. I'm going to read this last one and then we're going to move forward. This one, I say this one for last because it's just so much here. And this is talking about the many appearances that you had coaching a team and taking them to the state track meet down in Austin, Texas at Mike Myers Stadium. You had appearances at the state track meet in 1979, 1980, 1981, 1982, 1984, 1985, 1986, 1987, 1988, 1989, 1990, 1991, 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996, 1998, the year of 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2005, and if y'all tired, just hold on, because there's more. 2006, 2007, 2008, 2011, and 2013. And in 2017, you were acknowledged for the UIL Distinguished Service Award. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not get to be a Hall of Fame coach by accident. I called out all of these years on purpose so you could see this man's resume. Is not by accident. Coach, this many appearances to state, 41 years of coaching, 52 All-Americans. You got to tell me, what did it feel like to go to state that many years?
Be honest with you, you just got to have a passion and put that passion into the kids you're working with.
Wow.
And if you're not doing that, I don't think the coach is really doing his job.
And Coach, we were joking before the camera started rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I had to tell you the interview is about you because you always put your kids first. And I'm getting ready to get into a part of this broadcast where I'm bringing it up to the most recent time. We talked a little bit about the past years and the history. But, Coach, I want to talk to you about this particular moment. And it was something that I witnessed. But, Coach, the year was 1998. The event was the 4x100 meter relay. The time of 39.76 was on the clock. and a new national record had been run out of lane 1. First leg had run a time of 10.54. Second leg had run a time of 9.60. Third leg had run a time of 10.26. Fourth leg had run a time of 9.04. And ladies and gentlemen, again, this was a 39.76 out of lane 1 national record. You had 2 brothers on this team. One led the 4x100 meter relay off, and one anchored this team. Coach, I want you to tell me a little bit about that race, and I want you to tell me about these 4 special young men that set this national record.
Okay, number 1, I knew their daddy from high school.
Wow.
We ran against each other. And he said, Lee, I'm going to bring him over there with you. I said, I appreciate it. You know, I'll take care of him. And matter of fact, they moved from their dad's house over into Forest Hill because, you know, during that time, the gang activity was real bad.
Wow.
And they wanted to be away from that. So they went to stay with their auntie. Both of them special. Monty, was a noise talker out of all of them. Because Mario and Lil Milton and Mike wasn't gonna say too much. But if anybody challenged us, Monty was gonna be the one that speak out loud and get them hyped up, ready to run against them.
Wow.
And you need an athlete like that on the team. I'll give you a little bit of information on what went on that day before we got to the track. They were in my doghouse. You know about the doghouse. But I had to carry out. Actually, I was satisfied they got up and got out their rooms and stayed out too late. But I know they were nerved up, so it really didn't bother me. And you know how I can see you, but you don't see me.
Yes, sir.
And I was sitting down there watching from a distance, making sure they didn't do anything teenage foolish-wise. But the next morning, bright and early, I'm beating on the door. It's time to get up. And nobody was wanting to answer that door because they knew, I know, that they had been out. So it took them a long time to decide who was going to open that door. And they waited for me to start barking at them. And all I did was say, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to take y'all to eat your meal, last meal before you run. And I turned around and left. And that kind of, they didn't know how to act because they were waiting for a good chewing out.
Yeah, that wasn't your normal response, Coach.
But later on that day, they ate and came back and got dressed and everything. And we going over to the stadium. You couldn't hear a pin drop in that van.
Wow.
And I had one of my former athletes with us. You know Mason.
Mm-hmm.
Former FBI agent. And what I was trying to do is take the pressure off the kids. So we had to warm up over in the area where they competed at throwing the javelin, since high school here in Texas don't have javelin. And they have a nice all-weather jogging track over there, and that's what we warmed up at because I didn't want to pressure them dealing with some of the things that could go on inside the stadium. You have I'll give you a little taste of it. You have what they call the finish line club. The finish line club's down there to have fun, but it's a lot of betting going on at the finish line with those guys, and I knew it.
In high school.
And, you know, they want to holler out something to them. How you feel? What y'all going to do? That I didn't want that kind of pressure on them, so we stayed outside the stadium. My assistant coach was over there to hear when they started calling for the events to show up, different events, athletes to show up. And I got the phone calls, they were ready for the 4x1. So I had Waylon Ersham over there, and he was stopping traffic and everything so we could get across the street to the stadium. And I was worried about how they were going to perform until they got out there on the track. They acted like they were the only ones on the track. I got my sigh of relief because I knew that they were focused and ready to go.
Now, Coach, I was a spectator that day when the 4x100 meter relay had been run. They were unpushed. Fourth leg, Demario Wesley had blown the race open.
Yes.
The announcer got choked up. He said, "I'll be back to lane 1." I was watching the board, and I know accurate track is accurate. I know that you have the top officials at the UIL state track meet. I was looking at the board and I saw the time, but I'll be honest, anything can happen, the wind. I was watching every exchange. I never saw a red flag go up, so I knew it was a clean, every exchange was clean. As I watched it, the sticks were so perfect till you really couldn't even see the handoff. I mean, they were moving so fast. You got to understand what I'm telling you. A 39.76 national record. You got teams that have come way before. And Coach, this record has held for 21 years as of today. They had a kid by the name of Roy Martin in high school, went to Dallas Roosevelt. And I'm telling you, this kid tried out for the Olympics his senior year. His group didn't even do it. You had kids, Raymond Pierre and different guys, special. They didn't do it. Coach, this was just a special group of guys that will come through every now and then. When the race was over, did you think y'all had run a 39.76 and set the national record?
I was pretty sure they had ran that time because my hand time was a 39.61.
Wow.
So I wouldn't be off that much.
That year when y'all ran that national record, how many times that year had y'all run under 40 points?
After the prelims at the regional meet, they ran a 39.9 and set the national record.
Wow.
Then we went on to state meet, and they set the national record at 39.76.
So y'all ran the national record and broke the national record.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable, because like you say, for young kids that's coming along and that's learning how to run, they can get intimidated by running from lane 1 because it's a stagger. And sometimes I've heard kids say, "Oh, we at a disadvantage because we're in lane 1." But actually, lane 1, you can see the field. Coach, tell me and those that are watching, how do you get lane 1 for the state? Because you can tell me, do you draw for the lanes or?
They have the computer draws the lanes. It's a blind draw. I don't care if you got at state meet in Texas. I don't care if you got the fastest time in the nation, which we had at that time. It didn't matter. Your blind draw is the lane you're gonna have. I had a team run 40.6 from lane 8 over the years. The year we won the sprint relay with the freshmen, we had lane 1.
Wow.
So it's just something you got a week and a half to see what lane you got, and then it's left up to you to work with your kids to prepare them to run in whatever lane they got, and that's track and field.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, Coach, I'm gonna shift the scene a little bit.
Okay.
I was one of your athletes.
Right.
And I ran for 3 years for you. Again, I was on the 4x1. I was on the 4x4 100-meter relay. And I was an open 400-meter runner. Now, you know, I told you I'm going to mess with you a little bit. People don't know this aside, you know, to you and I. We have a long track record together. And I am a mortician.
Uh-oh.
And Coach, I gave you many sleepless nights. You always said, if it was a big funeral going on in Fort Worth, you would get a little nervous because I might not show up for the meet.
That is correct.
Now, Coach, I have to be a little comical here. We were on our way to state meet one time, and you would always rent a van for us to go down to Austin, from Fort Worth to Austin. And I was on the van, and I was asleep, but I was on the floor. And now, Coach, you tell me what happened?
I think we were right outside Waco, and you popped your head open. Said, Coach, cemetery over there. I said, Keith, go back to sleep. Don't start that.
Man, I tell you, you know, I brought all of that up because it's just amazing. We see what we witness on the track, but we don't see the behind the scenes. You kept us at a place where we were relaxed, and you gave us grace and space to be who we were. And I can say, now that I'm able to do television, this was the greatest honor that I could give back to you. And you know, I think about how even when the Cowboys were at the height of their careers, and you know, the athletes, they couldn't get Jimmy Johnson to crack, and when they won that first Super Bowl, Emmitt Smith went up and messed his hair up. So, you know, if I say something sentimental to make you cry, hey, I don't even care, because I'm telling you what you meant to me. You, Coach, seriously, I was young and I was just a kid, but now that I'm an adult and I have the opportunity to give back to you, like I say, this broadcast has been in my heart to do for over a year, but you killed the boy in me and made the man in me stand up. That's why I am the way that I am today. You drove us to excellence. You drove us to perfection. When we were young in high school, we didn't understand. We'd get an attitude. We'd get mad. Coach, you know, you used to, later in the season when we were getting close to the regionals and the district meet, you would push us to run a 45-second run. And that's in practice to see how far you could make it in a 400. And I used to get so mad. I said, God, I don't want to run this today. But it was moments like those that make moments like now. My life would have never been what it is now, because what I'm experiencing now then was necessary for now, is what I'm trying to say.
Sure. what I was trying to get my guys to understand, that life goes on with you or without you. And the better I can prepare you for the real world, the better off you're gonna be. Every day that I left practice, I let y'all know I was going to work. We had a family janitorial service.
Yep.
And when I was young, I used to work 1, 2 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Because you have a family, you want to take care of your family, and it's just my time. So that's trying to teach y'all that I was being responsible as a man to my family.
Wow.
And I was blessed to have a wife that followed me around with y'all. She'd be right down there at the state meet. And because whether you know it or not, it takes someone special to be a coach's wife.
Absolutely.
Because we're always with other kids and not our own. The only time that I really enjoyed my daughter was in the summertime.
Wow.
And it hurt my feelings when she got 12 years old and didn't want to hang out with daddy no more. I knew that was part of growing up too. But, you know, we all have bumps and bruises in our life. And I just wanted to try to let the kids know that's a part of life. Adults have a lot more bumps and bruises in their life. Now, if they haven't got any type of discipline, they're gonna fall apart.
Wow.
As a grown person, if you don't learn how to handle things. And that was also part of my job, is teaching y'all how to handle pressures.
That's true.
And I took a lot of pride in doing that and letting y'all understand that you're gonna have some tough times in your life.
Absolutely.
Now,
sure.
It's left up to you how you handle those bumps and bruises.
Sure. You don't know, but you played a very vital part in my life, because you were talking about the bumps and bruises. I've been through some bumps and bruises. I lost both of my parents a year apart. So I can tell you, it's just been a rocky time in my life, but I look back on some of the things that you instilled in us, and it just helped us to deal with life. Because, you know, now as a pastor, I tell people, life just happens. I mean, you can go through some events that leave you just almost walking unbalanced and sideways. But Coach, I gotta say this before we move to the next thing I want to talk about. You know, I laugh at you because I'm thankful for your wife for putting up with me, because I gave you some sleepless nights. Out of any athlete, who would you say kept you up at night?
I'm letting the whole USA know. Keith Gardner is the only athlete I've ever coached that I would wake up at night in my sleep calling his name. But let me tell you the rest of it.
Wow.
Keith came from middle school wanting to be a mortician, and I respected that. It took him a while to get there, but he got there. He's having success at it. And I told him sitting down at the state track meet, I think it was 3 years ago, when I leave this earth, you got my body, but you only got 15 minutes to talk. Okay, because I'm gonna make sure I already know who they are.
Wow.
That if you get long-winded, y'all just stand up and give them the look. Y'all know what kind of look I used to give y'all.
Well, Coach, as long as you don't raise up and tell me, I'll be all right. But I tell you, this has been a powerful interview. We're just about through, but I want to acknowledge a very special moment of your life. On January the 19th, 2019, you were inducted into the Coaches Hall of Fame. Talk to me a little bit about that. I was there. I had the chance to experience it. And I also brought my son, who is 14 years old. I wanted him to witness that, not because you were my coach, but I told him, I said, son, you don't get to this stage by putting yourself there. You earned it. I read all of the accomplishments earlier, 52 All-Americans, the 38 years of coaching at one school, the 41 years total. Coach, what did the Hall of Fame experience mean to you?
It was special. I'm up there with some guys that I watched run at the high school level, at the collegiate level, at the professional level, and to go into the Hall of Fame with them was very special. But it still goes back. You said it's you talk about your boys all the time, but I wouldn't have been in that position if it hadn't been for my boys that I've coached over the years.
Wow.
And that means more to me than anything.
Wow.
You know? And at the end, I told everybody I love my boys, and I meant that.
Wow.
You can't be around a kid every day, 4 years during the school year, and not care about them.
No.
And if I've offended anyone of my kids over the years, they're hearing my apology right now. But my job was to prepare y'all to try to go to school, if that's what you wanted to do, or go out in the real life.
Oh.
Because eventually, some little old girl, I don't know why, is gonna like you, and y'all wind up getting married.
Absolutely.
And you gotta be able to deal with the pressures of everyday living, raising a child, loving your wife, getting to know each other, and that takes some work. And I've been blessed that I've had a wife with me for 44 years. She knows the ins and out of me, and she knows when she needs to step in and settle me down.
Wow.
But she always wanted to try to act like she was a coach. But those are the things that's special to me.
Wow.
I have always loved what I do, even the good, bad, and the ugly.
Wow.
You know, because we can get over the bad and the ugly. It takes time sometimes. Like I said, we all have bumps and bruises, and it's how we handle those bumps and bruises is what's going to make us a better person. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that, and that's what I was trying to preach to y'all all the time about having success or giving it all you got. Because it's going to be some days that you give it all you got, and you're going to still feel like you're a failure.
Yeah,
that's a part of life.
That's true.
You know, it's how you get back up and start over.
That is true.
And I think that's more important in this day and time than ever.
Wow.
Because we have a lot of young men don't know how to become young men.
Wow.
I don't want to offend anybody, but mothers, we got to let those boys grow up. They're always going to be your baby, but they need to grow up.
That's a good point.
And they'll be better out for it. When I left high school, I had no plans to go back home.
Wow.
When I left college, I had no plans to go back home. When I met my wife, that was it. We married. We've been through ups and downs just like any normal couple. But practice what you preach. And that's what I had to do.
Wow.
You know, I'm preaching to y'all, so I got to do the same thing. And I'm a better person for it. And I know I am.
I just keep hearing that group that used to sing Boys to Men. Mm-hmm. I just keep hearing that in my spirit. Boys to Men. You took boys and you took us and made us men. Coach, we're just about out of time. I mean, this has been an amazing one-on-one sit down. Again, I want to thank you for being a part of this broadcast. I want to thank you for taking out time of your busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Fame coach, Lee Williams. I'm telling you, this has been by far one of the most amazing interviews that I've done. Before we go off air, I wanted to acknowledge a few families and supporters of this broadcast. But Coach, you have anything before we go off?
No, it was just I was going to tell you thank you for inviting me to your program.
Oh, it's an honor. It was the least that I could do. I had to do it because, like I said, you poured so much into my life. I had to give back. And again, Coach, thank you so much.
Well, I'm happy you came over and had a conversation with me.
Oh man, it was real.
And please tell my wife that I acted nice.
You did. You acted nice. Hey, I'm telling you, this was so powerful. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's broadcast, the Feet of Mountain Climbers Television Broadcast Ministry, live on the FOMC Television Broadcasting Network, a Keith Gardner production. Before we go off air, we never like to go off air without acknowledging our sponsors of this broadcast. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by the Williams and Lucas Funeral Home of Fort Worth, Texas, located at 517 North Sylvania Avenue. Our phone number is 817-838-2336, and I always give out my personal cell phone number. You can call me 24 hours a day. This is what I do. My personal cell phone number is 817-705-7737. And again, I want to just thank the partners of Williams and Lucas Funeral Home of Fort Worth, Texas, for supporting this broadcast, financial supporters of this broadcast. I couldn't do it without you. And I want to acknowledge a few families that we've had the privilege and the honor to serve. And we continue to pray for these families because I know it's a trying time. We want to acknowledge the Bobby Joe Henry family, the Mary M. King family, the Gabriella Faith Porter family, the Donna Pace family, the Brianna Hart's family, the Betty Hornbuckle family, the Mary Rhodes family, the Elizabeth Hayes family, the Charles Gifford family, the Rose Beverly family, the Jesse Polk family, the Charlene Garcia family, the Pearlie Henderson family, and the Jesse Thomas family. Again, this has been an honor. Thank you again, Coach, for taking out time in your busy schedule. Listen, we're just about out of time. Again, we thank you for tuning in to today's television broadcast, The Feet of Mountain Climbers. Until next time, we'll see you. God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Feet of Mountain Climbers Ministry. This television broadcast is to spread the gospel of hope and encouragement into all the world. Our ministry motto, may God give you feet to climb mountains, to rise above every storm. And our ministry scripture is 1 Peter 5:10 through 11. And the Bible says, but the God of all grace hath called unto us his eternal glory by Christ Jesus. After that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, and settle you. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. This broadcast is hosted by Minister Keith and Leisha Gardner, ministers and motivational speakers, and author of the book, My Greatest Outcome Came from Going Through My Greatest Pain. To sow a seed or to have us pray with you, send us your prayer request to the Feet of Mountain Climbers Ministry, P.O. Box 541-446, Grand Prairie, Texas, 75054-1446. And we want to let you know, we'd love to join our faith with yours, so be sure you write to us, and until the next time, be blessed in the name of Jesus.